So the Fullerton Ocean Park Hotel is located, you could say, next to Ocean Park, but it's around the back of Aberdeen. And Lydia and I worked on this project very closely with the client. And this particular client was a very proud Hongkonger. And so for us, one of the most important elements with this project was the fact that it was a new hotel in Hong Kong, and we wanted to bring all the beautiful elements of Hong Kong into this hotel. So for us, the brief is very important from the client. Not just the brief, but also the location. So one thing our team likes doing more than anything is studying, you know, where the hotel sits, what its orientation is, what is the history of the location, what is so special about the location. So we did that a lot. And what happened was we were asked by the client to enrich the area of this area here on the top left-hand side is called the guest reception.
Yes.
And the guest reception is where if people are coming in buses rather than private cars, this is the reception they come into. And I don't know if you know, but Aberdeen was always a typhoon shelter for sampans and fishing boats and so on. And, you know, when there was foul weather, sampans used to have these glass sphere-like elements that they would place on the corners of their boats or at the top, and it would help them guide them through the storm, and they would see other sampans and so on. And one day, Lydia and I were in this brilliant presentation by Lodes. A very handsome Spanish man was hosting this presentation. And he pulled out this magnificent glass sphere. And I think it was in a champagne color or a clear color, I couldn't remember.
Gold color.
Gold color.
Yeah.
And Lydia and I just looked at each other, and it was almost like a light bulb moment, no pun. And we went, wow. And the next week, you know, we went off to our presentation with our globe, and our client looked at it and we said, here's what we would like to do in the reception. And we said, and here's the story. As the people walk in off the buses, this is their shelter. These are the sampans. They are welcoming them into the hotel. And the client was like, sold, love it.
Wow, you should do the presentations for me. No, it was a very good coincidence. It was great that we talked.
Yeah.
It was great that we talked precisely in that moment. It was great that I had the sample with me.
Yeah.
I love having samples.
Yeah.
And showing them. So
Can I
now
tell
it's
you?
not very sustainable apparently to bring things around.
No, but I have to tell you, as a designer, going to the client and showing the client this beautiful sphere, and we showed it, I think you were able to acquire a couple of other colors in time.
Yes.
And so we had the gold, we had the champagne, we had the clear, and the client went, they are all so beautiful. And then we discussed, then it becomes a collaboration with the client. We said, well, we'd like to have this many. And they went, ooh, that's a lot. And I think we ended up, Lydia, how many did we end up having in the end?
120, yes.
120
we had,
bowls.
5 sizes,
and 5
3 colors.
sizes,
Yeah.
3 colors. But that diversification of the sizes and the colors made it even more magnificent because there was this variation in terms of the exposure of the
subtle
light.
Though.
It's very subtle.
The lamp itself is it's a fantastic
we love it.
application of technique when it comes to product, because sometimes the problem with metal finishes. Sorry, I this is a little bit of no, but the just for people to appreciate in a product the details, which are the factor that makes the big difference. Metallization of a glass sometimes feels tacky because it's a little bit overpowering. Yeah. What Lodes has done with this collection, with these glasses, is to apply a gradient of the metallization in a way that you feel the luxury without being overwhelmed by the reflection, and also you allowed the different finishings to blend with each other at the same time allowing for the true color of the light to come through. Yeah, because that's very important.
You explain that beautifully. Can I tell you something else, though? What's so nice about that light is the fact that the light source is at the top and it's concealed.
Yes.
You know? Whereas for many years, people would have the glass sphere and they would drop the light in the middle. And when you have hotel background, all you do, and I know it's very trendy to sometimes have an exposed bulb and so on, but when you have a hotel background, you know, you're dealing with all sorts of people And so many people don't like the exposure of a raw bulb. It's too much for their eyes. And so this subtlety, the fact that it's at the top, it's slightly concealed. So you do get the illumination, but it's just, it's true ambience, you know?
Yep.
But very, very elegant. And then the coolest thing would happen with this project was because of the location.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that the coolest thing though. I call it the coolest headache.
So because of the location, there are these enormous doors off to the right. And of course, there are these, I think they're like 3.5 meter doors.
Yeah.
And they're huge. And of course, what do they face outside? Aberdeen.
That's not a very nice place to be when there is a typhoon.
Yes.
It was a typhoon shelter, but it's not the best place to be when there is a typhoon.
Exactly. So what happened is you may be able to see from the picture, there are all these very slim rods that come down. So the bulbs actually hang by a wire.
Yep.
And the wire does look very elegant. However, because of the location, they had to be certain that if a huge gust came in, that all the bulbs were all the balls were not going to swing into each other, and then it would be disastrous. So you can see just above there is an enormous canopy.
Mm-hmm.
And the canopy has all the different rods which come down and support the balls to make sure they don't move. But of course, then there was the whole issue of the canopy and the weight. And then later on we were like, is there enough support in the ceiling for this?
No, at this point I want to do a shout out to Zodiac Lighting from Wan Chai in Hong Kong, because they saved us. We are one of the fastest delivering companies in for sure in Italy, but I think worldwide when it comes to products that are, let's say, from off the shelf in a warehouse.
Proprietary, yeah.
But when as everything in Italy, when you need to do things custom, times normally go to 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and so on. And we discovered we needed to do the rods and the plate 3 weeks before the delivery. So in this case we coordinated with Zodiac. They enabled us to implement the drawings, all of the technical specs, and we delivered the project. I don't know if you know this you remember this, but since we received the order confirmation until we delivered everything on the job site, there was only a 3.5 week gap. So yeah, I don't know. I hope I can still brag about this project at least for a couple of more years.
For sure.
Because we really did very well, having in consideration that we had all of the restrictions COVID related still in place.
Of course.
So well done. All right.